Hello friends, David here. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I did a video about Vietnam, as in talking about Vietnam, because the last couple of videos I talked about some perfumes. You may want to check them out. They are really nice perfumes, I think. So please check them out if you're interested in perfumes. But today I'm going to talk about Vietnam. I'm going to talk about some of the cultural shocks that I've experienced since coming to this beautiful country. You know, whenever I visit a country, there are definitely certain practices or certain things that you see which is different from what you are used to. Today I'm going to talk about 5 of them. So some of the shocks that I've experienced here in Vietnam, 5 cultural shocks that I've had here in Vietnam. That is what I'm going to talk about in this video. So stick around and let's get started. Okay guys, welcome back. Let's get started. To begin with, the way Vietnamese people talk. Vietnamese people talk very fast and then loud. When you observe them for the first time, you would think they are in the middle of an argument which is about to generate into a fist, but yeah, that is how they talk. It is not out of place to see 2 Vietnamese people or a couple in a shopping mall, about 30 meters distance between them, with one of them shouting on top of his or her voice to the spouse, trying to ask if they need a milk or something. And the funny thing is, other Vietnamese people around don't really care about that because, like I said, that is their culture. And the best thing you can observe with this cultural shock is when you have a Vietnamese person in the middle of a bus, a crowded bus, maybe a sleeper bus, and he or she getting a phone call. They talk very loudly on the phone with a smile on their face. That thing is quite annoying and interesting at the same time. So yeah, the next time you see 2 Vietnamese women talking in the street, they are probably not arguing, but maybe they are just talking about the last holiday they visited. So Vietnamese people, they talk very loud and then fast. Secondly, let's talk about cost of living. I know I've mentioned this before. The cost of living here is dead cheap. I mean, it's cheap when you compare it to major places in the world. I did an apartment video of this place talking about how much we pay or I pay here and some other things. But this cultural shock here is about how much I pay for water in this apartment. I moved here last year, June, that is June 2021. And from the time I moved up to date, I've never paid more than $3 for water in a month. So every time when the water bill comes, you know, they are always below $3. So that is something which is very surprising to me. I'm very sure you watching me right now, you are surprised as well. So yeah, that is the second cultural shock I've experienced here in Vietnam. And the third one, I would think to me that would be the most important cultural shock. I'm a teacher. I teach here. For those of you who don't know, I'm a teacher here. I teach science here. And apart from World Teachers Day, Vietnamese people have the Vietnamese Teachers Day. And that is celebrated on the 20th of November every year. That day is set aside, you know, to celebrate teachers. Every school in Vietnam does a very little ceremony or big ceremony, depending on what they want to do, just to celebrate teachers. You see students, past students, sending gifts to their teachers, and it's just a lovely day. Like I said, I've never seen it anywhere. I've never traveled so many places. So yeah, that is another shock which I think is quite appealing. So yeah, that is the third one. Right. The fourth cultural shock here is about how Vietnamese people have their dinners, or how they have family eating times. Yeah, to put it that way. Whenever Vietnamese families sit to eat, the food is not served individually. They serve the food into a very big bowl, or the different types of food in different big bowls. And family members sit around the table with smaller bowls like this, and then their chopsticks, and then they just fetch the food and then eat. I think that is very lovely. Again, this is something which is not very common. It's not common. It is not something which is practiced back home in Ghana. So that is something I find shocking. And then the last but not the least is if you try giving tips to some Vietnamese people, you would have to convince them before they take it. Yeah, it is okay to tip people at the restaurants, in the bars, but when you meet a random Vietnamese person who does some services for you and you try to tip that person, you would have to convince them before they take that. I think they believe they do not deserve more than they've worked for. That is how I see it. And even if they are trying to render just help and you try to tip them, they feel like they don't have to take your money. That is what I have experienced. So these are the 5 cultural shocks that I would like to talk about in this video. So many things out there which is not so common back home in Ghana, but these are the only 5 I would like to talk about because I don't want this video to be long. If you enjoyed this content, I'll be very glad if you subscribe to the channel. That is, if you haven't yet, and then hit the notification button so that whenever I upload any content, you'll be notified. Once again, my name is David Reyes Wilson. For those of you who don't know, scientifically, you can call me tetranicotinamide adenine dinucleotide triiosothium Achabu with 3 acid. The only science teacher we know gets sense. I will see you in my next video. Peace.